know, to be honest, I wasn't sure if I was ever going to do another record. I was really kind of heading in the direction of scoring and soundtrack stuff, and I had to kind of reinvestigate my entire process. I basically had to fundamentally change the way I approached making music. And part of that meant I think I needed to change my environment completely, and I had to get out of New York. Once I wrote the first song for the record, I realized that this is the type of record that I think I was going to have to do completely on my own. I left my label, and it became a completely self-financed, independent project. And so that meant I was going to have to make my ideal record and somehow achieve some sort of fantasy scenario. And there were 4 things that ended up being imperative to achieving the fantasy scenario. So the first part of the equation was to find the guy that helps create these atmospheric kind of dreamscapey sounds for a band called Doves. Doves is one of my favorite bands, a very influential band. And though they do most of their work themselves and they're very independent, they do allow this man, Steve, into their world. So I really desperately wanted to find him. The second element I wanted to find was the children's choir.
We will live like kings under lavender skies.
I write these melodies sometimes that were just built for a children's choir, and I'd never worked with a children's choir before, and so I needed to find this choir. The third element was recording all of this to tape, to actual tape, which doesn't really exist anymore. And so it was very important for me for this to be an analog project.
It's funny because no one does this anymore. And it's like, it's something we used to do every day.
Woo! So the fourth element was finding the drummer in a band called My Morning Jacket. His name was Patrick Callahan. I asked him if he wanted to do it. I sent him some songs. He came over, we hung out, we had a couple drinks, and he's been one of the most supportive friends and artists for me on this project. So we packed up and we went to England, and I ended up at Real World Studios, which is Peter Gabriel's studio that he built just outside of Bath. And Real World ended up being kind of this secret 5th element that I didn't know I needed, but I did, and it was just so wonderful. I had never lived and worked in a studio before, and it was truly one of the most magical moments I've ever had in my life.
So there's the edit there. You can see the edit go. What was that?
Beautiful!
Fortune tellers, fortune tell.